If you would have told me a couple of years ago that my first 8K camera would be as affordable as this one, I would have said, oh my God, who are you? Please don't hurt me. What are you doing in my house? Please don't hurt me. Oh my God. But it's true. There's nothing in here. This is packaging for something else. I lied to you. It's actually filming me right now. And to be clear, it's not just a camera. It's actually also a phone, specifically the LG V60. But to defend my clickbait, you know, 'cause I'm sure some of you guys are going to be mad at me, buying one of these to just use as like an Android-based Wi-Fi enabled camera makes a lot of sense when you consider you can get one of these things with a bad IMEI for under 200 bucks on eBay. I personally have been really excited about 8K because I love resolution. I like it nice and crispy. I want there to be enough pixels so I can hear each and every one of them. I don't know what pixels say. I will bring this up because I know not everybody is like a fan of high resolution stuff, and I'll be brief, but there are people, real people, walking around on the planet just like you and me, with families and their own hobbies, that truly believe that humans can't see 4K resolution, let alone 8K. It depends on the pixel density, and HD is plenty of resolution for most stuff. I'm not some resolution elitist. But listen, not what I'm here to talk about. Forget that, right? The 8K video. 8K. 33 megapixels. Count them. 1, 2, 3. What's it like? Honestly, it's pretty damn good. I mean, obviously, not going to be the same as a $50,000 Red Epic Dragon Unicorn camera. But even 3 years ago, you couldn't get an 8K camera for $1,000, let alone $300. It's nice and crisp. It's very sharp. The colors are pretty good. You can zoom into the footage after filming quite a ways before it starts to look gross, which is like significant for video from such a small sensor. The dynamic range is pretty good too. It even supports HDR10 in some of the video modes, which is like a file format that allows for like a higher dynamic range. But I do have to say that support for it sucks. Normal YouTube doesn't even do a good job with it. Even when you import it into Premiere Pro, it looks like this. Like you have to add all these effects on it, and it's like this huge pain. That's the phone being ahead and everything else being bad. I was also surprised to see that rendering edited footage is really fast as long as you aren't like scaling the footage, which is crazy because my laptop is super old. Again, it's not without its problems. I've had 2 of these phones because the first one I got off eBay unlocked, got locked by AT&T like days after eBay's warranty expired. Both phones I've used have some trouble when you start recording 8K video. They get like choppy. It's kind of weird, and apparently not everyone has this issue, so if you do have it, it's not a big deal. You just have to wait a couple seconds until it warms up. You can also notice some rolling shutter when you move quickly, but honestly, I don't move. That's the end of the sentence. The 8K mode is bad in low light. There are some things certain in life: death, birth, taxes, 8K mode being bad in low light. It also crops in quite a bit, which makes me wish they made the wide angle lens the one with the 64 megapixel sensor. I like wide angle shots, you know. At first, I figured I could use a smartphone adapter lens, like some of those Moment lenses. I had so much trouble with that. I got a phone cage that could mount a lens adapter to the phone. None of the ones I tried worked with the V60 because it has a larger sensor than most phones. And even like a several $100 wide angle lens adapter gonna introduce chromatic aberration and like autofocus issues and stuff because they're made to work with hundreds of different phones. So I kind of just gave up on that. Sure, it's possible. Too much work for me. With the larger sensor, you'd think that night photography would be like really great, but it's not great. Pixel phones obviously are the best at night sight right now. Comparing a Pixel and the LG V60 is like night and day. Pun intended. It's not because the Pixel phones have great cameras, it's that Google's software is really good. Something I'm constantly surprised by is the really nice background blur you can get in some situations, which is insane. Or maybe not. Typically with phones, I'm buying used flagships that are a couple years old instead of a new budget phone. I'm always behind on technology. And I got that sense when I was taking pictures with this phone. It can do 64 megapixels, like I mentioned, and I was really impressed with the background blur that I was getting. Everyone I showed it to was kind of just like, oh, that's neat. As if it's not a big deal. So, I guess what do I know? This phone is a good phone. I like this phone. But there is a feature that is so bad, I can't even conceive of what person thought it would be a good idea. And I know this is way beyond 8K video now. We're going off into the weeds. But I have to show it. The LG keyboard has a fake Animoji feature, only the characters are kind of creepy. Since this is a phone, I might as well go over some of the other features it has. You can get a dual screen case for it, which, while weird, is pretty awesome. I also just found out the other day that it actually supports some pressure sensitive styluses, which is like, what? I bought this phone solely because of the camera, but to go online and find out it has features I didn't even know about that are useful to me, it's weird and it's a cool feeling. That's why it's such a shame that LG got out of the phone market shortly after I bought this phone, because while they did have many stupid phone attempts, I've owned a lot of their phones, not because of some brand loyalty, but because I would go online looking for a phone with a specific feature, and it would almost always turn out to be an LG phone. You should definitely consider buying one of these things before it becomes too obsolete. If you have any thoughts on 8K video or this phone, be sure to let me know. I could see at some point in the future resolution becoming obsolete, because AI upscaling will be so good and efficient and cheap that it will give better results than cramming, tiny pixels into a tiny sensor. Who knows? All right. Bye.